sales of corporate property. My wife, referring to my wife, has to observe due process and wait for these cases to be resolved in accordance with the law. These cases started in 1989, more than 30 years ago, when my father, ako po raw, I was still a private citizen and had no influence on the courts. Now that he is in the judicial system, my mother has been very careful, meaning my wife has been very careful not to be perceived as using my dad's influence over the magistrates. She has left it to her lawyers to file the proper motions and is careful to the extent of not attending the hearings. If what my dad's accusers, yung mga accusers ko pa daw po, are saying is true about using his influence, yung influence ko daw po, would these cases still be pending in 2012 after more than 30 years? At yan po ang katotohanan talaga. Kung ginamit ko po ang aking impluensya, tapos na po itong mga kasong to at nanalo po kami lahat. Pagpatuloy ko lang po. It is the Basas who are prolonging the cases. For instance, after litigating their claim over a title for 16 years, after the judge decided the case in favor of Basa Guidote Enterprises based on the evidence and the law, they still appealed it to the Court of Appeals. We also have the libel cases, which started in 1996 for 4 cases, 1 per publication. Jose Maria Basa III and his wife, Raymunda Basa, yung pinalalabas po sa mga dyaryo at sa media na naaapi daw, were convicted in all 4 cases of libel against my wife in various years. In the RTC of Quezon City, they were convicted and sentenced in 2001. They opposed the writ of execution to further delay the payment of damages. Finally, partial damages were paid on September 30, 2003 through the auction of their BGEI shares. 2 other sentences in RTC of Manila were appealed to the Court of Appeals, thus prolonging further the payment of damages. Now, who is oppressing whom? My mother, yung wife ko daw po, was the victim of a very grievous crime against her honor and reputation. Jose and Raymunda Basa fled the country. Tumakbo po sila Nung sila'y nasentensyahan, tumakas po sila. They fled the country and refused to pay damages and serve their prison term. Jose Maria Basa III and Raymunda had their day in court. They were arraigned. They were allowed by the court to defend themselves on the witness stand. They were convicted and sentenced in 2001. Jose Maria Basa III was very much alive when he committed the crime, when he was arraigned, and while the proceedings were going on. He was found guilty. He must pay the damages that he is being ordered to pay by the court. His death did not extinguish his debts. I know about these cases, meaning my daughter. I know about these cases involving the shares of stock, and they could go whichever way. Ito po importante. The risk of buying into a very messy corporation like this was so great that I was willing to bid only as high as 50,000 pesos. Yes, there were proceeds from the sale of corporate property, but the ownership of the shares is being disputed and is still under litigation. Per the BGEI Articles of Incorporation, Jose Basa III owned only 110 shares, and his wife Raymunda owned another 110 shares. Since these shares were valued at 100 pesos per share, the total value, therefore, of their combined shares was only 22,000 pesos. Jose Basa III was claiming that he owned 4,860 shares because he claimed to have bought and paid for the shares of the other stockholders, namely Mario Basa, Sister Concepcion, the late Sister Concepcion Basa, and Sister Flor Basa, who is always appearing on TV. After weighing the pros and cons, I, meaning my daughter, decided to invest my savings in the said shares. I remember telling Mommy, yung wife ko po, that I, my daughter, was willing to go as high as 50,000. But if there were others who were willing to bid higher than I would, then I would forgo participating in the auction. It was better for her to get paid for the damages. But there was nobody else who showed up at the auction. So I paid the 28,000 pesos in cash, and that was it. I cannot stress enough that there was a great risk in acquiring them. So I don't see how anyone can say I didn't pay enough. No one else wanted to sink in their money in such an uncertain corporation with so much infighting among the heirs. I was also told, yung daughter po, was also told that the lower, ito po, importante po ito, sa understanding po ng mga senador at ng ating taong bayan. I was also told that the lower my bid, the easier it would have been for Jose III and Raymunda Basa to redeem the shares. Jose III and Raymunda could redeem their shares within 1 year. They would only have to pay me back my bid price of 28,000. Thereafter, they could regain ownership of the shares, but they did not. Jose III and Raymunda Basa were convicted of libel against Mommy, my wife po, and since they fled to the U.S. to evade arrest, Mommy had no choice but to garnish their shares. They were very unfair to Mommy. Instead of paying for the damages, they fled to escape accountability and serving out their prison term. It was only fair that Mommy would be paid damages. The Court of Law convicted Jose III and Raymunda Basa, issued multiple warrants of arrest, and ordered them to pay damages. They were guilty of destroying Mommy's reputation and making her suffer the pain, the anguish, the sleepless nights, the emotional turmoil, the damaged reputation, and endless adverse effects of such crimes. No compensation, in fact, is sufficient to pay for their crime. Yan po ang nangyari. At sana naman po ay wag ninyong tawagan ng kung ano-anong masamang adjective yung aking asawa, knowing what happened dito sa pamilyang to, kung bakit napakalalim po ng hidwaan at alitan nito. At mabalik naman po ako.
By the way, Mr. Chief Justice, just to clarify, what adjective was used?
Parang nadinig ko pa yata, if memory serves me right, parang may nadinig ako na nakaisa, nakagulang, nakapangtuso, yung po nadinig ko.
Was that
Hindi po kayo.
hindi po ako.
Hindi po kayo.
Tinanong ko lang po dun sa sheriff kung umobject si Mrs. Corona dun sa bid price of 28,000 pesos because of the fact that at that point, the corporation had a cash asset of 34.7 million. And the judgment to be satisfied was 500,000 pesos. And I was wondering as a lawyer, and I'm sure if you were in my place, you will probably wonder, since the judgment is 500,000, then at least the bid price ought to have been pegged at not less than 500,000, considering the asset of the corporation. But I understand from the, and I'm sorry to clarify this, in order to be fair to everybody, the sheriff said that the valuation of the shares that he exposed to bidding was provided by Mrs. Corona. I just want to put this on the record. What I said is, did Mrs. Corona raise any objection or a whimper? I remember I used the word whimper to object to the sale at auction of the shares of stock controlling almost 91% of Basa Guidote Corporation. And the sheriff said, no, only the two of them, the mother and the daughter, talked to each other. So I just want to put that into the record because I do not remember having used any adjective that would extend or in any way imply any unwelcome or unpleasant conduct of Mrs. Corona. So you may proceed, Mr. Chief Justice.
Yun nga po, pinaliwanag ko po yung dahilan
Yes.
nung hidwaan nila at alitan nung malapakalalim na hidwaan na ako po mismo ay nahihirapan na rin nun kasi gusto ko nga sanang mag-ayos-ayos na sila pero hindi ko po nakayang pagkasunduin sila. Ngayon po, mabalik po na kaunti lang kung bakit nga po yung pasya namin ng aking may bahay na hindi kami namimili ng mamahalin at magagarang property. Magbuhat nung araw pa po. Kasi nga po nakita namin itong problema sa pamilya nila. Kaya po ang pasya namin ay in-invest na lang namin sa cash, sa foreign exchange po, para hindi po mawala yung halaga. At para madali po ang paghati-hatian kung sakasakaling may mangyayari sa amin, i-divide lang po by 3, madali, walang problema at walang inggitan kung ano ang makukuha ng sino. May isa pong dahilan before I go into the other more substantial things. May isa pong dahilan pa kung bakit nagpasya na kami na i-invest po sa cash or i-manatili sa cash yung aming mga savings. Ako po ay isang diabetiko. Matagal na po itong sakit kong to, 1986 pa po.
Mr. Chief Justice, I would like to caution you. We, at the behest and motion of your lawyers, when we were considering the evidence being presented by the prosecution, we did not authorize the introduction of evidence to establish ill-gotten wealth. And there is no allegation as of today that will support the presentation of evidence regarding ill-gotten wealth. If at all, the reentrant of this issue of ill-gotten wealth was not provided by the prosecution, to be fair to them. It was provided by your own lawyers who presented a witness here to testify on the totality of the income of your family to justify the purchases of certain concrete assets, condominium and land, and so forth and so on. And so I'm saying this, that there's no issue of ill-gotten wealth here.
Correct po. Malinaw po yun.
Correct. The simple issue is simply inclusion and exclusion of property in your SALN. And that is covered by paragraph 2.2 and 2.3 of Article of Impeachment number Roman numeral 2. So, for the introduction of evidence regarding wealth, that it is honestly done or dishonestly acquired, will bring back into the picture paragraph 2.4 of Article 2, Roman numeral 2, of the Articles of Impeachment, which we already granted to be suppressed as far as introduction of evidence is concerned. So, if you are going to revive this with your testimony,
hindi po,
then it will become open to a cross-examination by the prosecution
Hindi
and maybe
ko-
by the members of this court.
Hindi ko po rini-revive ito. Binabanggit ko lang po ito sapagkat malinaw po na nalason po ang pag-iisip ng publiko sa mga atake sa amin sa labas.
I will allow you to proceed, Mr.
Opo.
Chief Justice. Kaya lang po, I am cautioning you because this is, as you know, an adversarial trial, that you will be opening yourself to cross-examination in this area. But anyway,
Opo.
it is your responsibility and I will allow you to continue with your statement.
Opo. Opo. Ayun. Ako po ay magpapatuloy na doon sa ating properties. Ako po ay pinaratangan na may 45 ari-arian daw. At ito ay sa pulsa simula ay sinabi kong malaking kasinungalingan. Alam naman po ni Eulalio Diaz III, administrador ng LRA, at pamangkin ni Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales at ni Justice Antonio Carpio, na matalik na kaibigan ni Pangulong Aquino, na wala naman akong 45 properties eh. Alam naman niya yun eh. At yung listahan na taglay-taglay niya dito sa hearing na ito ay exaggerated, huwad at hindi totoo. Ngunit linabas pa rin niya sa media po. Ang tingin tutuloy ng mga tao dun sa labas. Kung anong, sino ba itong tao to? May 45 properties. Pati po ako nagulat. Pamilya ko nagulat. 45 properties. Wala pa akong nakikilala pong tao dito sa Pilipinas sa may 45 properties. Ang sinasabi ko po sa bayan ngayon, at ako ay nagbubukas ng kalooban sa inyo at sa ating bayan Wala po akong 45 properties. Lilima lang po ang akin dyan at yan ay pinatunayan na namin at lahat ay nakadeklara po sa aking salin. Wala po akong tinago na ari-arian na hindi ko linagay sa aking salin. Kahit na ang binabati ko sa akin dito sa impeachment court na ito na bakit ko raw hindi linagay ang acquisition cost. Ang sagot ko po ay nakadeklara naman po yung asset sa aking salin. At yung mga asset na yan ay nakarehistro sa Register of Deeds na kung saan nakarehistro din yung mga public documents covering that asset. It's something that I'm not hiding because it's a public document that can be checked anytime. Ngayon, nadinig ko po rito sa impeachment court na ito, bakit ginamit mo yung fair market value ng tax declaration at hindi mo linagay yung fair market value ng kasalukuyan? Unang-una po, hindi ko naman po alam yung fair market value ng kasalukuyan. Dahil kung ganun po ang ating pagbabatayan, di lahat po ng nanunungkulan sa gobyerno na may ari-arian, every year kailangan pong tumawag ng appraiser para ma-revise yung fair market value ng kanyang ari-arian. Hindi naman siguro yun ang intensyon ng SAL-N law. Ngunit yung nakalagay po at nakasaad doon sa tax declaration ng fair market value ay periodically ina-adjust po ng assessor in accordance with present realities. Maaring hindi tumugma sa actual selling price na gusto ninyo, pero still it is being updated periodically by the assessor. Between the assessor's fair market value determination and the actual selling price if you were to sell it at present day prices, mas as far as the SAL-N is concerned, mas reliable po ang values na nakalagay sa tax declaration because primarily yun po ay ginamit ko on a very consistent basis. Magbuhat nung araw hanggang ngayon, yun na lang po ang akin nilalagay doon. Kung gagamitin naman natin ay acquisition cost. Yung property, halimbawa, binili ko noong 1992 for 3 million pesos. Kung yun ang gagamitin kong value sa aking salin, ngayon 2012, na nangangahalagang 10 million na halimbawa, example lang po, ay 3 million pa rin ilalagay ko. Kaya hindi rin po updated at hindi rin po accurate. Kaya in good faith po, linagay po yung fair market value na nakalagay sa tax declaration dahil yon ay mas reliable kasi sa yung actual selling price na hindi ko naman alam kung magkano ko maibibenta dahil hindi ko naman binibenta. The only way na malalaman ko po yun, tatawag ako ng appraiser every year at pa-appraise ko yung property. Pinatunayan din po namin na yung acquisition cost, at ito po yung siguro sinasabi ninyo kanina, ay nakapasok naman doon sa abot kaya naman nung aking kinita. At kung may kulang man, ay may pondong pribado naman pong pinagkunan na wala naman po sa pananaw ko. Magwalang galang na po. Walang koneksyon po dito sa impeachment trial na ito. May nilabas din po sa media na marami raw kaming ari-arian sa Amerika. Kahit na isa, wala naman pong napatunayan. Kasi wala naman po kaming ari-arian sa Amerika. Yung sinabi nilang ari-arian namin sa Amerika, yung listahan po kasing peke ng LRA list ng 45 properties. Nanggaling po sa isang peking manunulat na isang nagpapangkang journalist daw siya. Malinaw na malinaw po na iyon ay linabas lamang para makasira ng reputasyon. Ito na po, siguro ito po ang inyong pinakaiintay na topic. Yung aming cash. Nung pinatawag po namin si Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales, hati po yung mga nagmamagandang loob sa amin. Meron pong nagsabi, tila nagkamali yata kayo sa pagpatawag sa kanya. Meron namang nagsasabi na hindi tama na ipatawag ninyo si Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. Ako po, sa kaibuturan ng aking puso, naniniwala po ako na tama ang pagpapatawag namin at pagsusubpina kay Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. Sabi ni Ombudsman Carpio Morales, ako raw po ay may 10 million hanggang 12 million US dollars po sa 82 bank accounts. Wala po akong kilalang tao may 82 bank accounts. Ewan ko lang po kay Ombudsman Morales, baka siya meron. Kaya nakatanim sa isip niya yung 82 bank accounts. Ang katotohanan po, ako'y nagulat sa sinabi ni Ombudsman Morales. Lalo-lalo na nung siya ay nag-PowerPoint presentation na kinlaim po niya na ako daw ay may $82 accounts. She misleadingly alleged that such information was based on the report provided her by AMLAC. Ito pong AMLAC report na ginamit ni Ombudsman Morales dito sa impeachment court na ito. Ginamit dito sa impeachment court na ito ay hindi po authenticated. Walang predicate crime, walang investigasyon, walang court order, walang notice sa depositor. Clearly, it came from a polluted source. Ang ginawa ko po ay tumawag po ako ng isang team ng accountants na pag-aralan yung listahan na winagayway dito ni Ombudsman Morales. At malinaw na malinaw po na kanyang testimony was one of deception, exaggeration, and misrepresentation. Gusto ko po sanang humingi ng pahintulot sa Honorable Impeachment Court kung pwede rin po ako gumamit ng PowerPoint